action, sir! Here we are. Here we are. Welcome. Hail and well met. Do we try a sort of increasingly sort of noodly complex?
Yeah.
Ahoy, thee fair traveller. Do we like this? I don't instantly think I like this.
I don't. I'm not vibing with it.
I like hail, weary
Greetings
traveller.
and salutations.
Greetings and salutations.
No.
All of it seems kind of, and I love a Rem fair, but it feels creepy person at a Rem fair.
Yeah.
I love a Rem fair.
Lady.
Milady, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Tip of the hat to you.
A fair maiden.
Go simple. Something
creepy.
Join me in my bower.
Oh, stop it.
And also, feel free to do that at a Rem fair if you want.
As I've said,
Absolutely.
I've said now
don't.
innumerable times, not to yuck anyone's yum. But you can only put your finger in something you want to taste.
What? Yeah,
Even Doug was shocked.
I didn't mean that.
Oh my God.
Doug is disgusted with you.
I am
didn't mean
disgusting
that.
and
I
disgusting.
genuinely didn't mean that. I meant like
The yardstick for what's awful was shocked.
I didn't mean it like
No.
that.
I'm not really.
But it's out there now in the world.
I don't think you can't put it back in the box.
Well, we can't put
Yeah.
it back in the box.
No.
No, but you
one's
can put it
flicked it.
back in your pocket.
Once you licked it, it's yours.
Episode 16, though.
Yeah, that was something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We start at the end.
Yeah, start at the end.
What an end.
Wow.
Does that mean we're going to go straight into combat next
I mean, I
time?
guess.
Well,
We're gonna go-
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not, but the kind of, I would suggest that
Logic goes.
he thinks he's about to have a fight with you.
Yeah.
I feel like we're about to.
I think I think we might start with rolling initiative, which I don't think we've ever done,
No, I don't. Nah.
which is really
Can I
quite.
at least throw a book of philosophy at him first before we start?
Do what you want.
Can you at least put Bart's skin up and summon wildfire
Bonus action
spirit?
times
The
two. Bonus
fucking
action.
hinges here.
No, I've shut the door. The door is
Yeah.
shut.
I
He
really
needs to be
loved.
freed.
I loved it when you shut the door. I really
No,
wanted to
you're
use it.
trapped in here
I
with
wanted-
us.
Yes, exactly what I was
Yeah,
thinking. I was like, let's go.
Yep.
I is so unintimidating at the end of that. Literally, the whole
so
fight's kicking off,
unintimidating,
and
honey.
I's just like,
Hasn't moved.
Yeah.
And then it's like doink, doink.
Oh, yeah.
Did you intend the card game? First of all,
I really like that.
Love the way
On
that you
the
changed
fly.
it.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Can we play it
Written.
quickly?
Pardon?
yeah, I'd love to play it.
Can we all try it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
it's-
is based
Do you
on
think
real
have you
games.
got the
It's based on a
capacity
real
for us
game.
to
So
play
actually,
it right
there are more rules.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Can we
I
release
don't
them on-
have the energy. So essentially, any triple which must be declared as the bet before rolling, any triples will appear. So you're like, I reckon it'll be 4 3s. Then you get 30 to 1 if you declare 4 3s at the very beginning. You get nothing if you get 1 3 or 2 3.
Liar's Dice? Is it?
It's got an onomatopoeic
And he's
name.
raising.
Similar
Let
to
me
that,
see if
isn't
I
it?
can find. I can fortunately go back into my own thing and go into my internet history. It's card games to use for D&D.
Does it have an in-world? Have you called it something?
No, I mean, and that's the sort of
We
thing
have to
which
name
really.
it.
That's the sort of thing. It's called Chuckaluck.
Chocolate.
Chuckaluck or Birdcage or Sweat Rag is a game of
He's making these up.
It's derived from Grand Hazard, and both can be considered a variant of Sick Bow, which is a popular casino game. Although Chuckaluck is more of a carnival game than a true casino game. And it's and so I literally just copied it. And the thing that I added in as we went is you will put your money in to see what happens in the hand, and therefore your money can be won by so the house isn't always losing.
Yeah.
I like the idea there's a world in which there are decks of 6 cards, which I think is really neat.
Yeah.
The idea of we're
especially made
obsessed
for this
with 52. I know
Yeah.
you've kind of moved it on the slide.
Yeah, I
but
mean that was very much like, oh fuck, I
It
said
feels
because
cool.
also in moments like that, it wouldn't matter if it was dice.
No.
But there is a level at which I've told you it's a dice game. And the whole point of this is, as much as we fuck around, is to break immersion as little as possible. And therefore, it's very simple to shuffle 6 cards and get you to roll a dice to represent one of those 6 cards being turned.
Yeah.
So it's your world. You can do what you want. So there's absolutely plausible that there is a game in which there are specialised 6 cards.
Yeah.
And you have those.
Yeah, and at that point, really, if I'd thought about it, I could have been like, it's the priest, it's the prophet, it's the lady, it's the lord, it's the assassin, and it's
Tutus.
the
I
scholar,
want to.
and then you could be like, I
two
can
and you
the
said
3
two.
scholars. That
You
probably
called
would have
his.
been.
Oh, I called yours.
Yep, just playing the game. But like that probably would have been better.
Yeah.
And like out of the
Does that mean you win
pressure
twice?
of it, I can
No,
riff it.
so
You get nothing. You have to.
This is wild.
I said
This is just
your mistake. I was teaching them how to play.
You realise this is a show.
You realise this is the show and we're trying to
Yeah, but we're
discuss
having
how we
so
came
much
up with the
fun.
game. No, but I think, and again, in the moment, I was like, oh, well, in that case, then I was like, I already said to you, do you want to play the game as it's intended to be played? And I was like, fuck, how do I make the game cheatable? So I was like, oh, in that case, each one of you.
Can turn.
So he shuffles the MasterCards, if you
Yeah.
like, and then gives you a thing of 6, and you can do the top.
I just said 6 and got 3 sixes.
No way.
I'd love. I'm sure it'll be up to us for this game to continue in some capacity. I would enjoy us playing.
Yeah, 100%.
This game because it sounds fun, and a bit like a video game where you introduce a side game.
Gwent.
Yeah.
Queen's Blood.
Well, we can steal
Triple
a deck
Dragon.
and play it on
I
our own.
I think I'm the only person in the world who never enjoyed a mini game within a game. I'm always like, I just want the story. I'm just
I'm like that
chasing
as
the
well.
story. Like
Yeah.
I
I'm
want
usually am.
When
I don't
You're the
usually.
Witcher.
Yeah, it doesn't
You
mean
don't like Gwent?
Gwent completely.
No.
like-
I don't. I like Gwent the game. I'm just terrible at it.
I'm terrible at it.
Heard it here
I don't
first,
even
guys.
understand how
Doug
you win
hates
it.
Gwent.
I don't really get it.
According
hates
to
it.
a journalist,
Quote,
I hate
hates
Gwent.
Quote.
and I felt so bad because it came out in a review. And
Oh, really? Is this a
Oh, it's
pre-existing
not
in a
thing?
exclusive.
thing?
Great.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
exclusive
And,
for
and
Netflix.
Raphael Yaki, who invented Gwent,
I love Raffle.
he wrote me an email after this article came out and said, "You hate my game." And I was like, no, Raph, I was misquoted. There was a
know-
whole context there that they
I
didn't
know,
talk
I
about.
know he likes you because
Yeah.
Raffle actually messaged me and asked if
Why
want
you
help
hate
with
it so
Kickstarter.
much.
Because he did quite a lot of so CD Projekt does a lot of Kickstarters for like their tabletop stuff. So he was quite well
I love
versed. He was
Raph.
like,
He's a
look,
great
here's a couple
guy.
of things that might help you.
Yeah. Did you say back to him, why will I get your help? You created the shit game.
And then linked him to that article.
yeah.
Iago didn't exist until a day ago.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Was this
He grew
Can I
up fast.
tell you what the original plan was
Yeah.
for,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
Yanic? Years ago, in a home game, I had my players make a group of speeches at the election of essentially of a wizard's council, where they had to try and get a particular NPC elected to a position of high office. She went on to immediately betray the party. But the fact that they had helped get her elected meant they felt culpable in her fall and in all the damage that she then went on to do. And I had them all individually make persuasion checks and give a speech to this elected office. And I was like, I really enjoyed that. I'll do it with this lot. So originally, I was like, all you'll do is you'll do a competitive speech off with Pennick.
Good luck, everyone.
Pennick Winter von Ven. And I was like,
got this.
and I, more than anything, it was like that won't fill an episode.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was trying to write it. It was like 12:30 on Friday night, I think, might have been Thursday, and I'm desperately trying to find something to make this more dynamic. And it was only then that I was like, what if there's a debt? What if there's like all this sort of stuff? And that's when I was like, well, I need someone who's collecting the debt. And I already had some tieflings in a temple. So I was like, well, could I maybe make everything interconnected? But because, again, things that are fun, when you're playing a home game, if the session lasts an hour and a half, people are like, I was really enjoying that. Or you can go, give me a couple of hours, chat amongst yourselves, and I'll come and I'll add some more stuff to it. Like I'll do a little extra thing. You can't really do that here. So I just completely panicked and was like, this is much more dynamic. And then, of course, all the things, like there was nothing planned whatsoever. None of this was planned, actually. This was like the least railroady, I guess, any of it has been. You were just put in a town.
Quite like that, though.
Yeah.
I feel like we had fun with it.
And it was like, go where you want. So I had the black cat that I knew existed, but I had the main tavern, and then I had like two other. I had the black cat, the free spirit, and the rose and thorn were just written down as names. That was it. And then I think I said black cat in the previous episode.
Yeah. You
did.
So it was like, well, I need to build the black cat then. So I did that this morning before we started. And then Iago, I was like, well, Iago would probably come in at some point. And then you decided you want to follow him. So I was like, well, you best do something. Do you know what I mean? Like you're just, that was, this is like the most improv episode I've done in a long time.
It's cool. I love the name Iago as well. I'm kind of.
It's a cool
Yeah.
name.
It's a cool
Yeah.
name.
Well, it's an Othello name, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Shakespearean.
That was my one of my drama school speeches.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
That Cassio loves him. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think it's just an
It's
incredible
it's
speech.
amazing.
Because it's like in Shakespeare when you do speeches, the best ones are the ones that the plosives are really sexy to say, and like it's just a great combination of consonants and vowels, which is a weird thing to say, but in Shakespeare when it really pushes
it's
it out.
the muscularity. Like my favourites are. This is boring for people who don't like Shakespeare. I like the Richard II soliloquy at the end of I Have Been Studying that one, and Brutus is It Must Be by His Death.
Yeah.
Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah,
So good. It's
for all
so
you
good.
Shakespeare heads out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I also did Rumour from Henry IV Part 2.
Oh, cool.
Which is an amazing speech. Henry IV Part 2? Yes. And it's a personification of rumour that basically it's an amazing device in that play that catches you up because you do Henry IV Part 1 and Henry IV Part 2 comes in and the speech is this kind of like the rumour describes themselves basically riding on the tongues of people and how he changes and moulds, and it's basically a recap of Henry IV Part 1 in this one speech, and it's so brilliant. And if anyone wants to do a great drama school speech, go and get rumour because you can do anything. It's asexual. It's anything you want it to be. It's this beautiful. It allows you to imprint whatever you want onto it, and the language is incredible, and the imagery surrounding it because you are this nebulous idea of rumour. It's awesome.
Shakespeare heavy in the last couple of eps. We've had Queen Mab, and now we've got
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I just went Romeo.
Did you?
I did Sayest Thou Yet That Exile Is Not Death. I was talking to the friar.
Stuff.
We were
Yeah.
trying to make I into Romeo this episode.
I know!
Yeah, Vargy Wilson.
There we go.
Brilliantly
Someone's
brought back.
hosted before.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
That was. I really enjoyed all that. Like again,
That was adorable.
There was. I think this is the most. Like what's really happening now is just big chunks of it where I sit back and let you do shit, and I don't need to. I just need to let you guys play, and it was really lovely. I'm fascinated by. Can you let us in on I's journey with Quincy? I know it's not a romantic thing for I,
Yeah.
but like, how is he feeling about her and about gnomes?
Confused.
Yeah,
Honestly confused because, again, I think you mentioned it yesterday's action surge, and it sort of there's still no kind of resolution to this part. For I, it's just a thing that there is a hatred between gnomes and kobolds, right? That's what he understands. For a gnome not to have that, but also seemingly not to even understand that he is a kobold and think that he's a small dragonborn, is bizarre to him because he's like, no, we don't like each other. So there's that which is already in the back of his mind, which I think he's going to want to get some clarity on. But there's also elements of seeing the similarity between them in their fascination in just the
Tinkering.
Yeah. So
which is literally a gnomish trait. Like the
Yeah.
tinkerer thing
Yeah.
is like baked into canonical D&D
Yeah.
gnomes.
But also what I really liked about that stuff with you guys pushing that is something that I've always wanted to explore with I is, he's a character that's going to go on a journey, has an arc, and I've always said to you that part of that arc I would like to be, this being that is all about the collective and doesn't necessarily have a sense of self, of what is...
As opposed to the collective self.
Yeah, is an identity on its own. Because it's just like, oh no, because we are like one unit sort of thing. Like we'll go off and do like little sneaky bits, but it's always tribe. It's
in
for the good of
service
the
of
tribe.
the tribe,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the idea of discovering a sense of individuality as well, and what that means to be an individual. And this kind of feels like the beginning of some sort of, even if he's not fully understanding it, or even if it's not like the exact kind of thing, it's the beginnings of that.
Don't worry,
thought you did
Aoife and I will not stop.
I thought you did so well as well with the pressure, especially from Radian. To try to get you to bite.
Yeah.
I thought you stayed in there, right in there in I's little world.
But it's a little bit like, until a baby is ready to eat solids, they're just not really interested in them. And you can put an overcooked piece of carrot in front of a six-week-old. They're not going to try and put it in their mouth. They're just, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's almost like that. It's like, it's not that he's not biting. He doesn't recognize there's anything he should be biting.
Yeah.
He's just sort of like, right?
There's also,
just so face value of everything.
There's also the inadvertent tiny morsel of Kelnis lore in that as
Yeah.
well. Like you said, was there like
Scrap
anybody?
for you.
Was there anybody
Yeah.
else that we liked? And I was almost going to say something, didn't. But then Kelnis was like,
Harry stopped the music in that moment. Harry's like,
Yeah.
oh, no music.
Harry's
off, but-
playing DJ back there and
went
having the
into
time of his life
went
with
into
those
somber.
buttons.
First outing,
McIntyre.
DJ McIntyre.
Yeah,
First-
I'm super intrigued to hear more about that.
first outing of this particular baby, which is jovial music.
And I reacted to it in the moment, which I feel it took us out of it. I went, "Oh,
I'm just
this
enjoying
great
it.
music," and I stopped you because I heard it, and it felt. So this is the great thing about us doing this live. I know we're going to keep talking about it because we're however many episodes in, and it's still a new thing.
Well, we're 16 eps in, and we've only had it since. Bear in mind, we did episode 15 yesterday as we record.
Yeah.
So it's the same weekend. We are only 6 hours into having music in the room.
Yeah.
It's so informative for us to kind of know how we're not meant to be. We're supposed to be meant to be feeling in this moment. Is this place safe? Is it not safe? How,
Yeah.
tonally
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
what the
totally
world
where we
is
should
doing.
go.
But
And
also the day I imagine will come, and I can't wait for it, when we have jovial music and we're like, oh, and then suddenly it's just the music boom changes,
Yeah, it inverts.
and you're like,
So-
oh,
Wait, stop now.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah.
I want to get off the ride.
we are,
Pulling on those things. No, I changed my mind.
because essentially this is jazz, but also there is someone leading. There has to be someone leading, and it's actually quite nice that in some ways that is a thing. And it reminded me so much of like any sort of RPG that you play when you go to a town for the first time. And we went from quite a somber beginning. I'm sorry, I kept burying the body. Like we went from a somber beginning at night time to then suddenly the day was the middle of the day. And we arrived in this town, and the place is deserted. Oh my God, has the entire town of Yanic been attacked? And I went, what happened here? Like, oh no, they're all just having this amazing time. And it's that beautiful story shift that was informed by the music. So we go from the beginning, from the workshop, from burying the guy for some reason, and then going into town. I was like, this is so cool. What a different change of energy. And I feel like this entire episode had that dynamic shift all of the time. It went from being silly, being lively, being inventive, having like meaningful role play,
Yeah.
and then ending on what we think will actually be, a bit of combat, but also with the mechanical stuff in with the card game as well. I think it kind of had it all really to play anyway. I didn't know how it was to watch, but it was a more enjoyable one to play.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. It's in my head, and we said this off camera, like, Yanic is a little bit like a very small Novigrad from The Witcher. Like, it kind of has that feeling to me, like those kind of squares that you find. I think there's something like, there are certain cultural kind of touch points that, because we all come from sort of not necessarily the same countries, but like all from very similar kind of cultural perspectives. A town square is something that is just really recognizable, and it's like someone is stood on something high up making a speech in a town square, and we're like, oh, I get that.
Got it.
Like it's almost like a shorthand, whereas if it's like you're in some kind of space soup, it's like, I don't really know.
Space soup?
But do you know what I mean? Like if you're a very different DMs to me who are kind of much more imaginative world builders might kind of root things in sort of amorphous, sort of nebulous, oh, this is a space and it doesn't really mean anything and the lore's so deep, and that stuff's amazing, but I think sometimes also it's just really useful to be able to go to your players. There's like a paved town square and a fountain.
And we
You're like,
all go.
great, I know where I am and I feel like I know the vibe of the place I'm in.
Yeah.
I thought for sure in that town square when everybody turned to look at Quincy,
Quincy.
I thought,
Here we go.
This,
Yeah,
this
here
is
we
where they
go.
recognize us when we get run out of
Yeah.
town with pitchforks.
It's
or something.
it's tricky that. I mean, it's something. I've sort of I think I said this before. I've snookered myself a little bit with the whole God Killers thing, but I think we're going to play fast and loose with the idea of hoods up. I think. I mean, I
Yeah.
think hoods up is going to mean that for
It's
someone.
a conceit. It's a lovely
Yeah,
conceit.
and I think hoods up is going to mean that really someone has to roll to. I don't think people are just going to be like, "Oh, I know who you are," and you've got the scroll
I'm just
as
gonna
a
walk around everywhere like
as a
this,
backstop.
like with
yeah.
a little ring finger.
Yeah, yeah. But that was.
You've already. I know you say you think you snookered yourself. You have actually seeded in from a narrative point of view lots of outs, which is. This isn't the world of social media. They've probably seen us in the sky once, a little bit. And they didn't even see it. They heard our names.
Heard the names.
The description of it could be anything.
But also, they didn't say a gold dragonborn, a pink-skinned tiefling.
There was no picture of it.
There was no picture. Well, it's something that. So I did a TV show, and that is set in like the year 900. And a brilliant thing that they do in the books that we never did in the show, was the lead character will just turn up in a different town and give a different name, and everyone goes, Okay.
So who's going to prove
Who's
anything?
who's even gonna like? There is no reason that anyone would be like, hang on, you look like that picture of that Saxon I've seen. Like
Oh,
that
they
doesn't
have- yeah.
that doesn't
Yeah.
exist. And so
We've already.
I really loved the idea of Parabask in the sky being like, and I am now a god, and then going to end it and going, and just holding up some drawings.
Drawings
So they've got there's this one here.
into like a palantir.
But also, we came in with Quincy, who was then kind of an ally because he'd kind of seen us and had been like, well, they're obviously not these horrible god killers.
Yeah.
And then actually, Eris didn't react badly to seeing Elwyn.
And Isolde told, like, I was toying with, like, oh, what will Eris think? And I was like, you know what? If I have told you that, I've had an NPC be like, my mum, who you know, will look after you, I have to be very, very, very fucking judicious with when that information is wrong.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like the right moment for that information to be wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, also, it's much more interesting narratively if that happens the fourth or fifth time someone tells you that. Do you know what I mean? Rather than like, can't trust anyone, ha 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 ha, you're in jail. Like,
There's no.
come
Yeah.
on. Like, so, and again, it's that thing of, which we've kind of talked about or skirted around at various points, but like, it's not the DM against the players. Like I've built this whole thing for you to feel like heroes, for you to win, and for you to kind of get all that wish fulfillment. And
Well, and she had great cheese balls.
she did have great cheese. Yes,
The
absolutely.
dog box.
I get worried sometimes when Doug doesn't say anything for a while, and then suddenly
you
I'm
know it's
going,
gonna be
I'm
a
like,
zinger.
what's he about to say? Because he's about to come in with something.
It's
It
coming
was like-
hot, heavy, and
It
hot.
was like you've been teeing up
been
those cheese
brewing
balls
that.
for a while.
Yeah.
Absolutely nobody acknowledged the fact that Doug used the phrase, I'd like to pull them off. Like, that was it. Oh no, it was
I'd
the
like to
book.
pull
It was the
two
book.
of them off.
I'd like to pull two of them off.
Yeah,
I
when
did.
You said that about the books on the shelf, and I was like,
That
I
says
didn't
more about
fuck it
you than it
either.
does
Yeah,
about
it
us,
does.
quite
Yeah,
frankly.
yeah.
So
I mean, I
don't
would've-
be
if I'd
dragging
got it, I
us
would've
into
loved
this
it. I would've-
with you, yeah.
You're all just as disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
I'm also glad we didn't go full Casino Royale around that table because I've got money now, but y'all will be
I
spending
really
it.
wanted to
get
go to
it
the
back.
table, but I felt like narratively, you know, when
Oh, me
you
Robin.
sit back and you go, narratively,
Yeah.
this is the moment for Dolly. This is like almost like Dolly you were spearheading that entire thing. It felt like
Yeah.
having your moment and being like one against one, very Casino Royale,
Yeah.
James Bond against.
Well, she.
You and the chief.
Yeah. Well, she like did say it in the episode, but she has done this before, so yeah, it was. It felt correct.
Were you tempted to do the push?
Yeah.
What would have
I
happened
was massively
had she
tempted.
pushed
Had she what?
pushed the card?
Force the card.
Force the card.
She would have rolled a sleight of hand check.
Right.
Right.
I would have done that.
Yeah, but it's like, but if you get caught, then stakes are high.
High.
Yeah.
Like you rolled a perception and noticed that he'd
forced it.
forced a
Yeah.
card.
And I wanted him to know that I saw that he'd forced it.
Yeah, it was nice. I don't know whether it always happens when you just meet a character of the same, an NPCs of the same species.
Yeah.
But it really naturally gets to a point where Dolly just sort of took the lead in these last couple of episodes and felt like a quite traditional face in a way that's really fun of being like, I'll be the one who does the talking, I'll sit at the card table, I'll try and schmooze that person and I'll you know,
It's
and
where
I'll,
she's most useful.
yeah.
You know?
It's like
Plus 10 to persuasion.
Do you feel like she's still the leader? Because obviously you were assigned to be the leader by the web, but now we're no longer members of the web. Do you still feel like the leader?
I don't think she thinks of herself as a leader. I don't think she likes that.
Because I feel like everyone's stepped up.
Yeah.
I don't think I could define a leader. I think Elowyn, it feels like it could be Elowyn, but actually often Elowyn will be like, I'll do this if you want to do that.
She's
More like a
Elowyn
it's more
plugs-
like a bodyguard.
Elowyn sort of plugs the gaps that other people leave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll take them over to a different table because they're going to wreck this interaction.
Yeah.
Is essentially...
Yeah.
So it's more like backup.
Yeah.
So it's more like whoever is going to lead this, I'll do what I can to ensure that they've got what they need. Yeah. So it's not about me. I'll
think-
make sure that you can succeed.
In that sense, I think Elwyn and Dolly like kind of have it sus now that like get rid of the others and
Yeah.
we'll just
Yeah.
Between us, we'll somehow control the room.
yeah.
Speaking of structures, we now have a company. that we run.
You do.
We found the paperwork for that yet?
Jesus, the names you fucking lock.
They were really bad.
No,
It was almost like
why could we not do it? Why could one of us? We are quite
We're
hungover.
quite hungover.
I don't know. Steve's great spoons.
My brain wasn't.
Because I thought one of them was going to come up with a zinger.
Steve Chase.
Steve Chase is my favourite name you've come up with.
Chase,
It's
why
like
you
Steve Chase.
I think it's Ray Chase.
You really lost it.
You're like, you were Ray Chase it at one point.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
Noctis himself.
Yes.
So we've got Missy, Steve, me,
Missy Mayfair.
Missy Mayfair, Steve Chase, me, Pebble, just Pebble, and Pamela
Summer Isle.
Summer Isle.
Also,
Woo!
you went Missy Mayfair, and in one moment you went Missy Mayfield.
Oh my god.
So you might have blown your cover wide open.
Pseudonym.
I'm gonna be Missy Mayfair, but you can call me Missy Mayfield.
Next
Please,
episode.
Missy Mayfair. Missy Mayfield was my mother. So that makes no
It's an
sense.
insane naming
whatsoever.
structure. Your family's crazy.
You can only change the end of your name for another noun.
Yeah. You said it. We should have been doing this sooner, but we did. I just thought it would be a really cool callback to when we had fun at the.
Yeah, it was. And it actually is good cover, to be saying that we're doing anything else other than
Also, it's just a bit of play. There's a bit of silly, just to kind of pretend.
We'll see, make a little bit of cash.
We did. It was good.
Yeah. I love that we made a bit of cash and then went, thank you very much for the 24 silver. We will take an expensive bottle of wine.
$5 gold.
Oh, come on! I am raised as a noble. I'm not drinking what you lot drink.
We're gonna get through that money quite quickly, aren't we? Are we?
I've got 4,486 of it left.
You've got it written down.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Nice.
fucking right. She's tracking inventory.
Yeah.
God, this is just like Holly in real life.
I need 1,000 of that to get
why don't we get two
crystal
bottles?
so I can use
A diamond.
Revivify.
Diamond.
If you're a good boy, I'll buy you a Revivify crystal. But you got to promise to use it on
Buy
me.
you a
Gotta
Revivify
No,
crystal.
a Revivify diamond.
It is a diamond.
Crystal.
It is a
But
diamond.
a Revivify diamond will not necessarily be something you can buy everywhere,
Yeah.
but there will be opportunities to buy.
Yeah, you won't find one of them in Yanic.
No.
Something I enjoyed exploring today was I've kind of tried to hold back from it because I know that the whole rogue thing can often be a bit frustrating at table when it's like, I'm the rogue and I'm going to go off and do something, right? And that can be frustrating. But it's where the rogue is best, right?
Yeah.
So doing those things, but also then you're like, I don't want it to be like, all right, everyone stop now. I'm going to go do something. So you don't want to do that. But equally, what's the point in having a rogue who's got a plus 11 to sneak if you don't go off
Technical
and do...
term, sneak.
Yeah.
Yes, if you don't go off and stealth.
If you don't go off in stealth.
But I think what you're finding as a group really well now is there's a lot of kind of sort of people acknowledging like, I'm going to give this person a look and then I'm going to go and do this. And because you as players are understanding each other more and your characters are understanding each other more, like I will be like, I give them a look and I say, I'm going to go after him. And at the beginning, there might have been a sense of like, oh no, don't, we should all stay together. And now there's like, everyone trusts everyone to do their jobs as long as everyone's keeping everyone in the loop. Radian being like, I've got an idea, I'm going to do this, rather than doing the idea. I think I'm going to go after him, rather than just disappearing and everyone going, where the fuck is 1/5 of our team gone?
I will say this, whenever I say I've got an idea, I feel the sigh. I feel it here.
And
I sometimes wonder...
Sometimes you cover your mouth and I'm like, this is a bad plan.
It's when he does that. Like, he is... And right, people watching this at home, we ask Ben to write the ad reads, right? And you know he's written one because you'll find him looking at his phone and going...
Yeah. And then he'll go to one of us. Can I read you something?
So if you do want to advertise with us, you'll get me writing
But it's like, he goes, I've got an idea, and then I can feel him go. And nothing good comes with this.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. But it doesn't come. Yeah. But it's
Something
just
fun comes of it.
Something fun.
It is always fun.
It is. It's never boring.
But even like as both me and as Elwin, you just like, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go, like strapping, because I don't know what he's doing now.
It says a lot, right? Look at where you're set up and look at where I'm set
It's
up.
weirdly, yeah. And you've just got 2 random tiefling horns
And
stuck
also,
in the back of your dice
what
tower
really
and
needs
also
to
a
be like,
sticker.
this is her. So should we just show you?
Yeah.
This is the difference. So yours is there.
So for our audio
Here am
friends,
I.
Oh, it's got meticulously,
And here are, like,
beautifully
and here is
illustrated,
my
laid
Yanic-
out, mini
my
maps,
Yanic
everything's
maps.
framed.
Yeah.
Everything. If something needs to be on a scroll, she's drawn a scroll
like,
on
Yeah.
a piece of
here's
paper.
like tactical mind,
Oh my
tactical
God.
shift.
It's-
here's
I mean,
my,
You're good
my
for it.
second
These are-
wind tracking cards.
Essentially, she's a walking Etsy.
Yeah.
Like,
honest to God.
Yeah,
shop.
yeah.
And in comparison, you have the diary of a killer.
Got your little passport.
And I've got I have my little.
Just numbers, random numbers, and a bunch of grapes. You absolute psychopath.
They're not great. So what happened here?
And that is
From people
why-
with trypophobia. Oh my God, there's so much
Memorised.
nonsense.
And that is why you feel me suck my breath in every time because I've got an idea.
This is
because
me trying to draw
this is-
Baroon.
Oh, you've drawn the wedding cake.
I have drawn a wedding cake. What happened here with the little circles is so like every episode I do my little gun slots. I do my little spell slots. So I'll always do the circle and I'll pick
Yes.
this one's. But this one I just got excited and I'll just do this. And I just have a very idle hand that does that. And I think that's not necessarily a healthy thing
The
to
devil
have.
makes work.
I think I'm a doodler. I always have been, and I've also
That's all what this is, and that's why I do this.
But your doodling is like this is
Purposeful.
crazy
Purposeful.
doodling.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
wild.
here are like I have all my spares. If you ever got a potion and you didn't know what it was,
Have
I've
we
written
ever put
blank
these
ones.
up? We should.
No, I don't. I show them. I show some of them in
Delian's
Delian's diary.
I feel like we should auction these off at the end of the series. We're like, do you want to see the absolute?
No,
rambling?
I want.
Redacted.
When I worked at
No.
when I worked at PlayStation, we did. I think it was part of. I want to say one of the museums in London. I want to say the Barbican did a whole thing on video games, and a lot of the notebooks from the design docs on things like Naughty Dog were featured. And I just hope one day
Yeah, one
there'd
day
be
it
some
will
sort
be.
of D&D exhibition,
museum.
and these sort of notebooks would be in there, and that would make me so happy to see my
Yeah.
my notebook and all my dyslexic spelling.
Can I ask for those of you who don't take notes like that? I think it's only. What do you do? Alex?
So
I don't take notes.
don't take notes either.
I just listen back, but I don't take notes because I started to at the beginning, and then I found I
missed stuff.
don't know if it's like my ADD or what, but like I actually was taking in less
Yeah.
by writing down, and actually for me the easiest thing it's like when my diary. I don't use my phone. I use a physical diary.
Right.
Because for me, the action of writing puts it in my
Commits
head
it to
more
memory,
now.
yeah.
So I'm putting it in my memory, but also it's an active thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I'm writing, it's an active thing, and if I'm actively writing something, I'm not actively taking in what
That-
you want.
okay, so it's like you can't multitask. You can only
But this is the
intensely
thing.
task.
It's
I have
weird.
the
It's-
same, though, with
it-
this.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm fine with multitasking, but it's just feeling like I'm actively involved in something.
Okay.
Because I can go into autopilot when I multitask, and I'm fine to do multiple things, but I'm purely autopiloting those
Sort
things.
of surface leveling.
Yeah.
Everything. So I always, when I play, I make notes of things I want to do. There was always my note taking was like, I think we need to talk to this person, or I want to do that, or I want to explore that. It was very rarely note taking about what's happened, because, I mean, at home games you don't get to listen back to it, so you do have to take notes.
I always try to take notes. I've done this since I was a kid, when you're supposed to take notes in school and all that stuff, you know. And I try to take notes, and I'm just rubbish at it. I'm terrible.
Well, also like you like your interface that you use is very much like you have your iPad, you have your computer, you have your iPad,
Yeah.
and Holly and I are very much like we've got our pens and things to be written down. Like, it's absolutely crazy. No one else could understand what the hell I'm writing down, but I can understand it. Like I was looking at it going, this is crazy. This is like my health that I have written down. That when it was just nice big numbers in circles. It's really silly, but like I know where it is, and I feel like when it comes to my life, it's the same thing. Where like certain things are incredibly meticulously ordered, but other things are so chaotic. I know exactly where everything is, and it's just for some reason it kind of comes out in this way.
Because of my ADHD, I have to have everything meticulous. Like that's why, you guys get weekly schedules with it. Because if I don't stay on top of it, as soon as I lose it, it's gone.
Yeah.
So I have to be meticulous in almost everything. Otherwise, my ADHD and it'll just go.
It would be interesting to see like how many people at home who like watch this if they do play D&D, like whether it's like mechanic. When you play like a home game, when people play at home, like do they do it by computer or do they?
I'm a
have...
pencil. I'm a pen and pencil
Yeah.
and paper person, and I've stopped taking notes during sessions for two reasons. One, we have this thing called the vibe check, where while we're playing, Sam is writing down everything that happens minute by minute, and when I'm writing my recaps and going back over things that happened, I refer to the vibe check and also listen to the show on 2-speed, or like the audio rushes. So I kind of don't need to take notes in quite the same way. Very occasionally, I'll write. So, for example, underneath where I've started this session, I have my title as Session 16. It says, "How does Quincy repair the crossbow?" That was like something that while we were doing the previous session, I was like, before you do anything, Harry, you've got to figure that out, otherwise we're completely screwed. And also, some people were like, I can hear Harry writing.
Oh, really?
On the podcast and on the broadcast. People had mentioned it, broadcast. And I thought, oh, actually, you know, it's an unnecessary crutch at this point. It's something that makes me feel like I'm taking stuff in, but actually I need to get my head up and I need to be available at the table really more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, the other reason, again, because of ADHD, if I had a laptop or something like that, I'd be messing with it. Yeah. And I cannot describe how if I have something at this table that is that can do anything but D&D on it,
you'd be doing the other.
I would do it.
Yeah.
And it's bad because obviously I work in marketing and PR, so I'll sit in board meetings, and I've just had it all week now where I had to take my senior director of global PR to one side and be like, I'm really sorry that I'm typing during all of your meetings, but like you have to, I can't sit there and not do anything. I'm listening. I just have to keep moving.
Wow.
So this is the perfect
version of that.
This allows me to produce something for the show. Mm-hmm. So I can't just scribble anything because then it's unusable for Indelian's diary. Mm-hmm. But it is giving my brain something to do that stops it wandering, especially if I'm not involved in a scene. Mm-hmm. It's not being rude. My brain will just... it won't be... And that's ADHD. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm sure you'll...
I go into hyper-focus mode, I find. Like, when I'm at the table, I go into hyper-focus where, like, I'm either all or nothing. Where I'm either, like, all or nothing. And when I'm at the table, I actually... weirdly find it easy here to block everything out and just solely like go into that place.
This isn't why we've set up the studio like this, but we are playing in front of black drapes for anyone who's just listening. What do you think it would be like if we were in
I would be looking at
like
everything.
certain shows like Critical Role have it, and obviously Dimension 20 have it, High Rollers, people like that, you know, like they have quite elaborate sets, and we decided we just wanted to do something different to that. Yeah. Would you find yourself, do you think, being like, ooh?
Yeah, I'll be thinking about stuff, or, you know, it'll be in my eyeline. Like when I was in San Diego, we were in a cafe and having some like brunch, and there was just stuff everywhere. And it got to the point where the stuff and the sounds of the cafe, I was just really struggling with how much stuff there was. So I had to, someone was like staring at me for a while because I realized there was a TV, and I do this often at like pubs or whatever. I'll just laser in on the TV and I'll just stare at the TV for a few minutes.
And it helps you kind of reset.
Yeah.
It's almost like white noise.
So I feel like here, not having anything is really nice because it's easy just to like, boom, someone's talking, okay, cool, boom, like, yeah.
Well, Aoife's dice tower fell, which means, of course, it's time to move on and change the subject. So we've got,
I'm just looking at the time, we've got a bit.
We can go back and talk about the beginning and all the stuff with Petra. Like, I didn't think that was gonna go like
that was so heavy. Like in a really weird way.
That was weird.
Yeah.
I've written here like so much talk of morality, and I've written then everyone would just kill her.
Friends. Yeah. Like it was, and I know it probably seemed really strange, but it was such a weird thing because I know Aoife and Dolly were angling just to leave her, but I don't know. There's a thing. It's like a lawless world. Initially, we thought these people were threatening, but they just came in and they were doing something, and they were just they can kill anyone. And we came in and we murdered them. And it was. I really like analysing. No, of course.
No.
You drank wine and looked at the moon.
We didn't murder them. We defended ourselves. Cal tried to subdue someone, and in fairness, Cal did not try and kill him.
He tried to
Doug was very when he was like, I want to knock him out. It went wrong, and then he summoned an earth thing.
We are murderers.
Really, it's their fault they're dead.
Yeah. We are murderers multiple times over because we just do that, and it's a world in which like there aren't really consequences for death. We just kind of leave the bodies and move on. And I just thought it's a really interesting thing that we do. Like, why do we do this? What do we do it for the web?
I don't think we're murderers.
You are.
Well, we did.
I am.
Yeah, but we don't just walk into a place and start killing. Well, there's usually a reason for it.
It's defense.
I don't think you. Seriously, you're not. What you're not. You're not murder hobos. You're
Yeah.
not going from town to town being like,
Yeah.
who can I kill and what can I steal?
Yeah.
But you are, so like Jasmine, you were defending yourself. The Wolves, you were defending yourself. The Gloam, you were defending yourself.
Maybe not like Traveller, but like...
Yeah,
Not
you-
the Traveller. The Traveller, that was murder. That was
Yeah.
murder. That's, yeah, but it is. That's the
Then-
first. That was the first. There was no need for that person to die, and you killed them.
No,
and
maybe
then
who we were.
Medea, you didn't kill any of the guards of Barun.
No.
You don't know what happened.
I mean, I threw a massive handle over a wall. That could hit anyone.
That could do irreparable damage.
Welcome
who-
to the home.
That's an interesting. It's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not murderers in that kind
I'd
of.
say we
Yes, we
killed.
are. We killed
We
Alea
killed.
Dakar.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
so-
Alea Dakar
Yeah.
was
That was
murder.
that was murder.
That was murder. But again,
just-
Kellis
No,
wasn't there
that's-
because
How-
Kellis is off. I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah, but how annoying was
Tried
it?
to have a bit.
Yeah, it was annoying.
He was
Wasn't
so
it?
annoying.
He was annoying.
I think I'm just saying maybe even before the story, I personally think that I have chosen that Radiant has killed quite a few people before going in, and it's like in a world. I think questioning morality and certainly questioning where we are and why we do these things, especially as our allegiances are changing. I think questioning that and what we do, because it's D&D, so you roll dice and you cast spells and we burn people and we do, and we love describing the gory details. But ultimately, there is a cost and a human cost to it, and I think it's really interesting to start analysing that. And I think this person who we were kind of really glad and we ridiculed this person, we actually mutilated this person's body. It's really not nice what happened to them.
Who?
And then
Callio.
Callio, yeah, the person.
How did we mutilate them?
Well, essentially, they were held there whilst you were
Oh,
stabbing
right,
them.
yeah.
And then things
Yeah,
went,
yeah,
like,
that was kind of...
the body, it's
Yeah, but he
stayed
put a
right
spear
there.
through you 3 times first.
Yeah.
So like,
I think you missed
what-
one of them.
Like, well, he missed one twice. If he'd had the option.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I love it. You're like, no, he deserves to die.
He hit you.
I think it's
He
you're
hit
right.
you.
You're
Kill
right.
him.
You're right. But it's interesting to examine that. And I was like, well, let's see what happens. I mean, it kind of went where it went. Like, I think maybe there were some other things I wanted to say and talk about that it could have been more interesting and salient to the point that I was trying to make. But I think it is interesting to dig a grave for someone that you've just killed and then try and apologise for something when it's like, you killed them, doesn't matter. And it's like, no, I'm really, really sorry. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What am I going to
Sure
say?
you are.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're not. What? And it doesn't. Yeah.
That doesn't bring him back.
It doesn't bring him back. You've killed this person, so deal with it. And it's that same thing of like Radiant going in and like doing something and asking for apology. It's like you've done the thing. Don't.
Yeah.
It's again toxic behaviour.
Yes.
Of expecting that because I'm now saying sorry, this should all be fine.
Yeah.
And you couldn't accept that she wouldn't.
You need to
Accept
know.
the
You need to know how
apology?
sorry I am.
Yeah, and he wants, and it was interesting because I think, I hadn't given great thought to Petra as a character
Yeah.
for episode 15. She was there. I mean, she was there because I thought, I assumed you'd have a fight with 3 things that became 4 things, and that you would kill everyone, and that would be fine. And then we're sort of improving, and I'm like, oh well, I guess, yeah, she. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Like
She's just a poor soul who's
she's
trying
just,
to make
she's
her
just
way
someone
through
who
life.
threw her lot in with someone and they're all dead, and so
So are the gods. So like.
So are the gods.
I just felt a
She has
bit
no
like...
spear anymore.
She's got a
Sarah,
shovel.
you still got a
hasn't
spear.
She got a shovel.
apparently, yeah.
She's got a shovel. Yeah.
she? Got a shovel.
I did have a moment where, with Radiant and Petra, I thought, maybe this is just some sick joke, because Radiant is so weird sometimes, that he just wants to, having killed these people, he wants to share the burial of them with their friend. And like he just gets off in some kind of perverse way.
Well, there was a thinking of get her to dig her own grave and then kill her in it. But like that doesn't even remotely go with certainly who that would just seem so.
It would be
against-
it would be a very odd tonal choice.
Well, that would be
Yeah.
chaotic evil.
Yeah, and also at that point it would be on me to try and, I don't know.
I didn't really want to get into a space where, like, because we can't kill her out, right? It would initiate,
You'd have to-
initiate
yeah.
a fight again,
I
and
would-
it was like...
I wanted to bring her with us. That was the idea. That was like, and I don't know why. It was. I just felt like there was something to it. I just thought it would be an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like me just pissing into the wind.
Yeah, but
that's
sometimes,
novel.
but piss away. But
We've never attacked someone, and it's like we have these collisions with these NPCs, and then we kill them and we move on, and they have different lives. And I was like, what would happen if we attack this person. You've essentially dined out under the moon with them. They've killed all their friends and then been like, I'm really sorry about doing that, actually. And then actually being like, we can help you. Like, you're a lost soul, like we are. We understand what that is. Come and we can help you and do it. And I was like, we can use that leverage against Iago. And that was my thinking behind it. And then I thought, no. I kind of backed out a little bit. It's why, like, I personally believe, I think my side of the improvisation was quite half-assed because I was going to go in a direction.
Yeah.
And I was going to try and convince her to come with us.
I don't think there's anything you could. I don't think there was not nothing you could have done, but she doesn't. None of this benefits her.
No.
Like, nothing that you can offer her is worth anything unless you were like, here's 5 days' supplies and some weapons. Go out into the woods and don't come back. She'd be like, great.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 5 days of supplies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Honestly, you'd already set her up as, again, nihilistic. Like, it doesn't matter. She's doing this because there was literally nothing else really to do. The gods are dead. There's no purpose.
Yeah.
And a part of me was like, well, maybe I can convince her that the gods, that there can be purpose, that we had no purpose and now we have a purpose. But obviously, I rolled really badly. So it was like everything I did was low, 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 low. I wasn't persuading her of anything.
No.
There was nothing successful in those series of rolls that meant that I had any ground to stand on to build the argument that I was going towards. And so the dice just went, no,
Yeah,
you can't
it's
have
interesting
it.
because
Yeah.
you, Ben, are very good at those role play moments, and words like that come to you very easily, and it's really interesting that Radian's saying the same things as you're saying, but there is something about the way Radian, the character that you can't control, is saying them, which is not very believable.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of lovely because there's this sort of there's this sort of, it's almost like an uncanny valley thing. Like, there's the appearance of sincerity, but people are like,
Well,
You're
he's
not
done
convincing
nothing.
me.
He's done nothing
Yeah.
at any point to like. Hopefully, when I say something to people, believe me or want to believe me because of the relationship that I've built with them over time. Like, I've done things to kind of or reinforce that trust. All relationships are built on trust. People doing things, and then the sequence of events that leads us to that. Radiant kind of doesn't really do any of that. He's incredibly impulsive. Like, what the fuck are you going to do next? Like, something. If he does it, it's great if it comes off. We're lucky if it comes off. It's luck. It's not like, yeah, this is the person we can depend on. This is an intelligent idea. It's always just like, let's blow the bloody doors off.
yeah.
Speaking of blowing the bloody doors off, I think we might have to do some roly-poly.
Let's do roll those
Yay.
And I'll tell you my favourite part of this episode, which weirdly is just like a sort of weird self-nomination. I really liked the Iago with the student, with the scholar up against the wall. I didn't have that planned. The whip wasn't going to do that, and I just thought it worked really well. And you going in a pair was great because it meant that one of you was constantly rolling well enough to get the benefit of everything.
Yeah.
So what, like, his passive perception is 11. And you rolled 2 12s. So it's quite nice when you can kind of make a virtue of the fact that you two are there together and the eyes rolling so high that Radian's failure or almost failure is ameliorated by I like dragging him behind a thing at the perfect moment. And then I think you rolled really low on perception, but Radian rolled a dirty 20 or a 21 or something
was
like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
And it was really it felt like you were not in a hapless, luckless, foolish way, like making up for each other's shortcomings and working really effectively as a team.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you are the two stealthiest boys, I think. I think
Yeah.
you have like a +5 to
6.
+6 to stealth, which is by most measurements
as well.
pretty high.
I do now.
Yeah.
Wow, you're a stealthy bunch. The thing that you generally, I think that you guys miss out on a little bit is perception. I think the only person with super high perception is Kelnis.
Yeah.
I've got a +4 now.
Oh, that's good.
I get-
That's very
Thanks for New Player's Handbook.
Ah.
Does keep it nice and easy though. Whenever you ask to roll perception, I just take whatever's on the dice.
Right. So that was my favourite bit. But now to your favourite bit, the collective's favourite bit, for all the statisticians.
Statisticians.
It's a satisfying word, but it's hard to say.
Statistician.
Did I stutter?
Statistician.
For all them,
Statistician.
for all them numberheads out there,
Statistician.
statistician.
Statistician is the person.
Statistician.
Statistician.
Let's begin
Very
with
statistician.
I didn't do
let's begin with very statistician.
That was really bad.
Numbers on a roll.
Hey.
Please, Ben Starr, tell us what you've done.
Imagine the numbers 3 and 7 and put them together.
Shut
37.
your dumb mouth.
37.
Why am I so low?
That's bad.
Shorty.
Is this
Because you're
your-
Oh, I
shorty.
know it's bad. Thank
know
you,
you've moved
Ethan.
on.
37.
It's because you're shorty.
Because I rolled a 10
Shorty got low.
Yeah, see, it's
and a 10. Everything was at the lowest it could possibly be, other than the D10.
just bad luck. I mean, mine's still pretty bad when you consider what the top.
We've
end
said 100 counts as a good score.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Is that-
62.
Wow. Come on, Doug.
Wow, I'm 85 this week. I'm on a steady climb.
Yeah, you are.
yeah.
You
It's
are.
Good. I was
Tracking.
really low. I was lower than you. At one point, I was something stupid like 29 or something.
Yeah, you've had the lowest. I think.
Alex
Yeah.
Jordan.
I'm a very middling 71.
Someone break 3.
90.
90.
90. Wow.
Win, but it's a fine.
It's a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah,
Dragging-
yeah, it
dragging
doesn't
the medium
feel
up.
good.
It's like it's a
always.
win, but at what cost? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
What did we lose?
The other team played badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
You can't celebrate that.
That's not one for the neutral, is
I
it?
remember as a kid explaining something to my parents and going, as like I must have been about like 8 or 9, trying to use words. I was like, so it was a phallic victory.
That's a phallic victory. Perfect. What a way to finish. Thank you so much for joining us here on this familiar surge of action, this thing we do after the other big thing.
Surge of action.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you very soon for more adventures in the world of, someone else say it. Bye, everybody.
I spoon you.
D&D,
I spoon
baby.
you.
Baby.